Real Talk Live Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Philly, man. Let's get into it, man. Wait, see a couple people pop up. If not, we gonna jump right into it. Y'all can check the restream out. Let's get into it, man. Deontay the Bronze Bomber returns to the sport of boxing. And I told y'all he will be back. Although some people didn't believe, man, due to the singing career, his ventures outside of boxing, even the Bronze Bomber himself had doubts about coming back to the sport. But see, a true champion, if it's really not in you to lead a sport, you will always come back. And given a loss to Tyson Fury, I knew that was going to be a little bit tough on Deontay Wilder, especially the performance that he put on. And I knew, man, once he blew up like that, bad sign, bad sign. He tried to calculate the fact that Tyson Fury is a bigger guy, and he tried to put on some extra girth, some extra muscle to try to muscle Tyson Fury. But the size wasn't the problem, because you wasn't that size when you guys first fought. You wasn't that size when you damn near knocked him out when he pulled the Undertaker and came back from the dead. So therefore, that was all in Deontay Wilder's head. So if you guys have seen Deontay Wilder recent photos, how he is right now at this moment as we speak, Deontay Wilder is looking like the old Deontay Wilder. He has lost all that weight. But he still looks good. He looks like the old Deontay Wilder. He looked like he's about probably around the, maybe I would say probably like his old weight, like 214 to 220, maybe a little bit over 220, somewhere around there. But he looks good. I mean, definitely need to put some muscle on them legs. Those legs look just a little bit thin. But Deontay Wilder, man, he looks good. He looks in high spirits. And the fact that he's in the gym, he's working. This is the question, though. Who is Deontay Wilder going to fight? Now, with Tyson Fury, quote-unquote, retiring, even though I don't believe he's retired, he just had a huge payday. And he also, matter of fact, let's salute Tyson Fury before I say that. Because when Deontay Wilder was out of the sport, Tyson Fury was still fighting. He has said on various platforms the best heavyweight besides himself is Deontay Wilder. And I respect that, because Tyson Fury knows he wouldn't be where he is at if it wasn't for Deontay Wilder giving him a shot. Deontay Wilder is a true ambassador not only of the sport, but also of the heavyweight division. He has basically given resurgence to careers like Tyson Fury, Luis Ortiz. He's given Tyson Fury multiple opportunities. He's given Luis multiple opportunities. So he has not only brought people's careers back to life, but I mean, he has continually fed families in the sport of boxing. So Deontay Wilder, man, is to be respected. And with a loss like that from Tyson Fury, personally, try to put myself in his position, try to put myself in Deontay Wilder's shoes. That is a devastating loss, because you've never lost before. You are in the business of knocking people out. Now, with 41 knockouts, I believe, for your first time to really face defeat, and especially to get knocked out, mentally and spiritually and physically, that is a hurdle to come back from. But I believe that Tyson Fury is a true champion. He is a warrior, and I believe that he still has something to fight for. Now, will he fight? That is the question. Now, Ruiz, he has mentioned that he wants to fight Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua, and see, the Anthony Joshua picture to me is the most intriguing, because I believe with him fighting Alexander Usyk, which I have just seen reports, shout out to IFL TV, and I believe it was Michael Benson reported that the Saudis have given Alexander Usyk rights to stream the fight on his YouTube channel. So this means that basically everybody in Ukraine wants Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua fight. They will be able to stream the fight for free via Alexander Usyk's YouTube channel. And I guess anybody for that matter. I mean, if you are subscribed or whatever, if you log on to his channel, given a fight date, you'll probably be able to stream and view the fight. Because if they gave him the rights to do so, and he does it, I mean, for free, I mean, that's huge. And given the ambassador that Usyk has been for his country thus far, I mean that's huge. And you know what? That should worry Anthony Joshua, because Usyk already beat you. You went out, you got Robert Garcia, shout out to RGBA. But Alexander Usyk is a phenomenal boxer. Phenomenal boxer. And with the style that Robert Garcia, he wants Anthony Joshua to exhibit in the rematch, that style is going to work to Usyk's favor. So I don't know what their game plan is going to be, because Robert Garcia has said on multiple occasions, on multiple platforms, including his own, that he wants Anthony Joshua to be more aggressive. And that could actually go against Anthony Joshua, because you see, if that's not your style, you can't teach somebody to be something that they are not. And Anthony Joshua, keep in mind, he's a former champion. He didn't get to where he was being a former champion because he was an aggressive, come-forward fighter. Now, Robert Garcia believes that basically he needs to have more balls. You know what I mean? He has to go in there and muscle and bully Alexander Usyk. I don't think that's a smart game plan. I think that you need to box, but at the same time, you need to be aggressive in spots. Don't just come forward, because Alexander Usyk is a better boxer than Anthony Joshua. He's a better boxer. So if you're fighting somebody and they're a better boxer than you are, I mean, being aggressive ain't necessarily the way that you need to go about that fight. So, I mean, okay, well, let's go back to that. So let's talk about Chisora. Now, after Chisora's recent victory, and being as though I'm doing this from the mobile, I can't put that post that he had said as far as his comment, but he basically told Deontay Wilder, before you hang it up, I want to taste that power, champ. You know what I mean? And that's saying a whole hell of a lot. That basically you want to see what it feels like to get knocked out by Deontay Wilder before he retires. Now, being as though he's coming back to the sport of boxing, so that is 3 potential major fights. Chisora, that'll probably, and Joshua most definitely probably be on the DAZN. And you know Eddiehearn will most definitely make those fights. The fight with Andy Ruiz probably will be most likely the PBC, Showtime. And, you know, given their relationships, I believe that they will go all out to make those fights as well. But Joshua and Andy Ruiz, especially Andy Ruiz is looking in phenomenal shape. He made the mistake once upon a time, too, to try to physically be something that he was not, trying to be like Anthony Joshua. And that's how he lost. Putting on that added weight, putting on that added muscle. You know what I mean? He pretty much gassed out. Anthony Joshua put his foot on the gas and outboxed and wound up doing his thing and getting his belts back. Now, since then, Andy Ruiz, he's still a big guy, but he's no longer trying to be Mr. Universe. And that's why he looks good. He looks in great shape. He looks strong. Coming into the Ortiz fight. And, I mean, Ortiz being a southpaw, I mean, that's a dangerous fight, man. You know what I'm saying? Luis Ortiz is a dangerous competitor. He's a tough guy. He has power. You seen what he did with his last opponent. You know what I mean? He had, anytime you hit somebody and they don't realize where they at in the ring, That's power. Now, for Luis Ortiz to be knocked out by Deontay Wilder, that says a lot. So Andy Ruiz going into that fight, he wants to narrate and dictate not only the pace, but also the outcome. But it's hard to dictate the outcome, because Luis Ortiz is a good boxer, and he's a southpaw, and he has power. So Luis Ortiz, he has to be smart going into that fight, because if he's not, he could be in trouble. And facing somebody like Luis Ortiz, at this point, Luis Ortiz, everybody still, because he's a Cuban, they don't, some people say like he's this age or he may be older. Point is, it don't matter. The only point is he is still a fighter. He's still dangerous, and he's still a threat to some of the top guys. Now, Andy Ruiz, he wants to be a champion again after tasting, especially being the first Mexican heavyweight champion. You already have a spot in history as far as that. But if you are still chasing that championship pedigree, if you still want a title, you have to put yourself in position. Now, fighting somebody like Luis Ortiz will be a great fight. But if you are able to secure a fight with Deontay Wilder and possibly beat Deontay Wilder, that will most likely put you in contention for a title fight. Having two great victories like that, that'll put you in a nice spot. Now, Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, depending upon what he does with Alexander Usyk, I think that him and Deontay Wilder, matter of fact, truth of the matter, I think win or lose, and I could be wrong, but I believe win or lose, Wilder and Joshua can still fight, because that fight has been talked about, has been brewing, simmering for years. Now, let's talk about hypotheticals real quick. If Usyk wins this rematch and he beats Joshua, whether it's by knockout or whether it's by decision, I believe that Wilder and Joshua can still be made. That will be a great comeback fight for Deontay Wilder. It won't be an easy fight, but it'll be a great comeback fight, and especially with Joshua coming off, back-to-back losses, and that will be not only a great fight, but the build-up for that fight will be huge. Eddiehearn at DAZN, Matchroom, whatever. They are going to not only promote the hell out of that fight, but they are going to blow that fight up. Because at the end of the day, if Joshua loses to Usyk, you lost to the better guy. You lost to the better boxer. You put everything in a ring. Hopefully you went out. You got Robert Garcia. That didn't work out. That's ultimately just going to prove that you lost to the better guy. You lost to the better fighter. Now, Deontay Wilder, people are possibly going to have Joshua. Possibly. I'm going to say possibly. In the UK, the Brits, they're going to have Joshua as the favorite to beat Wilder. But Wilder, his power is always going to be the equalizer. But see, the thing about Deontay Wilder's power is he's going back down to, or he is back down rather, to his general and traditional weight. So has that rise in weight and then decrease in weight, and then going through mentally what he is going through by being knocked out, has that compromised Deontay Wilder's power? Now, as a fan and an analyst, that's what I would like to know, and I know that's what everybody else would like to know. That's why they would love to see him possibly in there with an opponent that he can knock out. So it can be shown to the world that Deontay Wilder he's still that guy. he's still a phenomenal heavyweight. Most importantly, he still has destructive power. Now, I think Chisora would be the guy to put him in there with first. Chisora is also durable. He's tough. So if Deontay Wilder can lay out Chisora, I mean, I think that would be a great statement. 'Cause like I said, Chisora is a tough competitor. So if in a comeback fight, if Deontay Wilder can knock out Chisora, I think that'd be a hell of a statement. That will set up the platform for him to fight a Ruiz or keep it in the UK and fight Anthony Joshua. And like I said, the Anthony Joshua, situation, that's intriguing because I believe win or lose, that fight will still be there for both of these guys. And that is a huge money fight. Everybody will come out to see Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight. And that's the not only beautiful thing about boxing, but the beautiful thing about certain matchups in boxing. Joshua versus Wilder is a fight that both of these guys have always wanted. Circumstances, situations, timing has never been right. Okay. But now moving forward, what you have Deontay Wilder losing to Tyson Fury, taking a brief sabbatical from the sport, now coming back to the sport. You have Anthony Joshua losing back-to-back losses to Alexander Usyk. Now you have him coming back, possibly, and I don't think that Anthony Joshua, even if he loses, I do not believe that he will walk away from the sport. I think he may take a little bit of time to, take a little break to process the loss. But even if he did take a little bit of time, I don't see him taking a lot of time because, if you lost already and then you lost again, you really only got two options, man. Either you want to retire or you're going to come back and fight. Now, if you come back and fight and the Deontay Wilder fight is there for you, you'll be a fool, in my opinion, not to take that fight. Because not only is that a great fight for you, but that is also a legacy fight. And it is also a money fight. That fight is going to generate that fight is going to make, I'm talking about money, especially if they do it in the UK. Now, that is going to take some convincing on the Deontay Wilder's part because Deontay Wilder's know if they have that fight in the UK, you're talking about UK judges, you're talking about UK fans, everything. So they're going to have to pay Deontay Wilder a lot of money. So look for that fight to be, when it comes down to that, you may wind up having a Terence Crawford and Errol Spence kind of situation where the negotiations may go on for a little while they iron out everything, because that'll be one of the biggest things for Joshua and Wilder will be the venue. Because Eddiehearn, and this is just smart business, Eddie is going to try to initially get that fight and make that fight for the UK. You already know Wembley is probably going to be at the top of the list. They're going to try to, because you've seen the numbers that Tyson Fury did. So they're definitely going to try to do that at Wembley in the UK. And if Deontay Wilder is a little bit apprehensive about doing that in the UK, look for Anthony Joshua coming over to the States, whether that's Madison Square Garden, Barclays, Vegas, wherever. That venue is going to be, that's going to be a huge ticket. So that will be a very interesting part as far as negotiations between Wilder and Joshua is the venue. The money, at this point, Joshua will have more losses than Deontay Wilder. And as far as what they bring to the table, it will be former champion Deontay Wilder, former champion, two-time champion rather, Anthony Joshua. So, look, man, that'll be a very interesting narrative. But I believe money won't be the issue when it comes to these two guys fighting. I truly believe the venue situation will probably be the biggest obstacle when they are making and prepping for this fight, because I believe that they are both going to secure the bag. Anthony Joshua, you know what I mean? He's smart. You know, Eddie Hearn is going to look out for him as he has been. Al Heyman and company, and along with I forgot the damn, what was Wilder's what was his name? Damn. I forgot his representative name, man. You know what I mean? The old cat. He has a funny name too. I forgot, man. Damn, man, I forgot. But he's always looked out for Wilder and made sure that he did right by Wilder. So I know he's going to secure the bag for Wilder. So I'm not really worrying about the money. But Ruiz, he also wants that fight. And I believe that, truth be told, depending upon what he does with Luis Ortiz, this fight may be the segue for Andy Ruiz to possibly be in contention with these other guys to get that Deontay Wilder fight. But like I said, don't sleep on Chisora, because Chisora, especially after his last victory, he has come out and said that he would like to fight Deontay Wilder. So I don't know, man. It could be very interesting, man. Deontay Wilder, believe it or not, he's a winning man. People still want to see Deontay Wilder fight. We've seen him lose. More importantly, we've seen Deontay Wilder get knocked out. And but mentally, is Deontay Wilder right? Because if he still has his power, that's cool. But mentally, is Deontay Wilder in a good space? He's taken some time. He said he's enjoyed the luxuries and the benefits and his time away from boxing, doing the music thing. We've seen him at the gun range. We've seen him doing various activities, getting his own statue in Tuscaloosa, spending time with his family, the business ventures as far as fragrance lines and clothing lines, you know what I mean, with his fiance and such. So, I mean, his ventures away from boxing and his activities, away from boxing, he's enjoyed them. But I've always known that Deontay Wilder wasn't finished from boxing. When you have the sport of boxing that's pretty much giving you a lifestyle, is giving you a life. It has helped you take care of your daughter, you know what I mean? That's the reason why Deontay Wilder started boxing anyway, because his daughter, God bless her, was a bit ill. And that's why he started boxing, especially at the age that he was. You know what I mean? Former Olympian, winning the bronze. So Deontay Wilder, man, he's a fighter. He's a fighter by definition. I will give him that mantle. He is a fighter. You know what I mean? He's a tough guy. But we've seen with recently Danny Garcia suffering from depression and anxiety. These things are very natural and very real and prevalent in fighters' lives. And you got to salute some of these guys, man, who are honest, and they come out and they say and they talk about it. You know what I mean? Then you heard Keith Thurman recently. He's also talked about it when he went through his bouts of depression and anxiety also. So, I mean, some of the things and the hurdles and the mental hurdles that these guys go through, either when they walk away or from the results of losses that they sustain in their career, it's a fact. It's real. So you have to look at Deontay Wilder mentally. Is he ready? I can't say is he ready to come back, because he's back. But you want to say, is he ready for the top guys? Now, Tyson Fury walking away from the sport, I would say temporarily retiring. Who's the best? Tyson Fury has said it many times. If I walk away from the sport, the next best heavyweight is Deontay Wilder. So even though he's just coming back, is he coming back automatically dropping into that number one spot? Besides Usyk, besides Joshua. Because some people, besides Tyson Fury, they still believe that Deontay Wilder is still the best heavyweight on the planet, pound for pound, power for power, despite his loss. Now, if he fights any of these, I don't know. because I think it was it Michael Hunter? It was somebody that he was showed taking a picture with. He may come back and fight somebody who I haven't mentioned. You know what I mean? I don't know who that will be, but they've showed him. You know what I mean? Briefly speaking with Ngannou, the UFC heavyweight champion and star, but he tried to secure a fight and do something with Tyson Fury, and I don't see him doing anything with Deontay Wilder. In my opinion, I don't think that he should, because the Ngannou, he's not only a fucking beast. I mean, this fucking dude is huge, and with Deontay Wilder, although he does have that explosive power, still coming down in weight like that, you don't want to go in there and give up a 30-pound weight advantage, you know what I mean, to a devastating puncher like Ngannou, because even though Tyson Fury physically was the bigger guy, you know what I mean, Tyson Fury wasn't known for having power like that. Although, since he got with Sugar has taught Tyson Fury to sit on his punches, and that's how he ultimately wound up knocking Deontay Wilder out. But fatigue was also played a big part in why Deontay Wilder got knocked out. Yes, Tyson Fury did catch him with some shots, but the fatigue factor was also huge, and Deontay Wilder losing, putting on the extra weight. You know what I mean? It physically took a lot out of Deontay Wilder's body, and more importantly, his legs. Once your legs go, especially you talking about, you know what I mean, dealing with heavyweights, that's it. And you know the way that Tyson Fury was throwing his weight around, weighing on Deontay Wilder's legs was gone. You know what I mean? So it was just a matter of time before Tyson Fury broke him down, caught him with the right shot, and put him away. We seen Deontay Wilder. Once Deontay Wilder got hurt to the body, I knew that it was just going to be a matter of time, because he got hurt to the body, and then ultimately Tyson Fury went up top and sealed the deal. But you know Tyson Fury is and will be watching whatever moves that Deontay Wilder chooses to make in the sport of boxing. Because if they're talking about, what do you say, he wants $200 million or something like that to come back and fight Anthony Joshua, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? He think he's Canelo. Hey, what's up, bro? I wonder how Deontay's eardrum will hold up a balanced equilibrium issue. Well, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's a trick that fighters do. You know what I mean? It's certain shots. It's okay. Look at your face as a target. When you start utilizing your hook to go after the temple or to the eardrum, fighters train for that. You know what I mean? Fighters train for that, because if you catch somebody in the ear or in the temple, like you said, you're going to knock the equilibrium off. That's not a random act, and it wasn't random that Deontay Wilder got caught with that shot. His lack of defense and glove placement made it easy for Tyson Fury to get that shot off. And you know that's something that Sugar watched and trained and taught Tyson Fury to do, how to get behind his gloves with that shot. So that's going to come down to training. Now, since Deontay Wilder, they talked about him coming back, I haven't heard them say, okay, Malik Scott is going to be his trainer. Or is he going with, you know what I mean, his old regime, which we all know he got rid of some of them people. But I've always said, man, you know what I'm saying, like Deontay Wilder, he should, I don't know, man, like I could have seen him going with I think somebody like Robert Garcia will have better results with Deontay Wilder than Anthony Joshua. Because teaching Deontay Wilder how to be a more strategic and aggressive heavyweight moving forward with the power that he has will be more dangerous for Deontay Wilder. It will be harder for, in my opinion, Anthony Joshua to learn that routine and style, because he's not naturally aggressive. Deontay Wilder is. I mean, he's a fucking storm waiting to happen. You know what I mean? So that trainership and fighter I think will be better between them two. That's why I'm intrigued to see how Anthony Joshua is going to look in this fight. But I mean, like I said, man, I told you, man, like Deontay Wilder, man, he should have went to Philly. You know what I mean? And got with Bozy. That's Jaronennis' father and trainer. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you, because if he just learns, because Malik Scott is from Philly too, but when Malik Scott allowed Deontay Wilder to blow up like that, that was a mistake. And not only was that a mistake, the fact that he allowed Deontay Wilder to do that, it showed me that maybe Malik Scott is not the trainer, even though these guys have a relationship, a partnership, they're brothers. I dig it, I understand it, I respect it. But you gave him a shot as far as being a trainer. Now maybe you should find somebody else. But if he chooses to stay with Malik Scott, we're going to have to see with him coming back, what kind of fighter is Deontay Wilder going to be? Now, it has two different narratives right there, because with Malik Scott, he did have, speaking on defense, does Deontay Wilder have any? To be honest with you, man, you know what I mean? Like, Deontay Wilder does, to answer your question, Deontay Wilder does have some defense, but he's not what you call a slick fighter. In my opinion, especially if you look at the way Deontay Wilder, man, if you look at his stance, the way he positions his feet, he positions his feet, and his stance is very wide, like he's a karate man. You know what I mean? He has a stance like somebody who does martial arts, but he uses that to his benefit. You can't doubt his power. He has a sneaky good uppercut, and he also has a sneaky good hook. He's known for his right hand, of course, but Deontay Wilder has one of the best 1-2s in the business. And the fact that he's so devastating as far as his power, just with his 1-2, that generally puts his opponents in a defensive set before him. But Tyson Fury changed that, because Tyson Fury is not only, as far as his hands, he's gifted with his hands, but Tyson Fury also moves very well. He moves like a middleweight. To be so big, you know what I mean? Like, Deontay Wilder has never been in the ring with somebody that moved like Tyson Fury. And Deontay Wilder himself is not a good mover, because, like I said, his stance is too wide. He needs to get more, he needs to be lighter on his feet. And you can only do that if you shorten up your stance and you move your feet. But learning how to move your feet, you also have to be able to be defensive and transition. And if you have never learned these things and done these things, it's hard to learn these things in one camp. So to that credit, as far as Deontay Wilder and his trainer, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to look at it, and like Malik Scott is going to take him a while to unlearn some of these different bad habits. That's what it is, bad habits. He's going to have to unlearn some things and then learn some things, and that takes a while, especially being as though Deontay Wilder is an old dog. He's not an old man, but he's a veteran in the game. He's a veteran heavyweight. He's not a young fighter. So you may not be able to teach him these things. So therefore, in the place of having active feet, you have to teach him better upper body movement. You've seen Jose Benavidez try to do that when he just fought Danny Garcia, because Jose Benavidez had that bum leg for when he got shot. So you know your mobility is going to have to be down. When you know your mobility is going to be down, you know your upper body movement is going to have to take the place of your legs being shot. Now, although Deontay Wilder, his legs ain't shot, he's just not a mobile fighter. You know what I mean? He has very long, you know what I'm saying, skinny legs. So it's going to be hard for him to learn how to do that. But if I was training Deontay Wilder, you got to take a page out of somebody like Lomachenko book. Okay, you in the music business, you know what I'm saying? You want to sing and do all that kind of stuff. How good of a dancer are you? If you want to teach Deontay Wilder how to have better footwork, how to have quicker footwork, and have quicker lateral movement, teach him how to dance. That's one of the best ways to learn not only how to move, but how to move in rhythm. Because it's different to move, but it's also different to have rhythmic movement. You know what I mean? Like, you look at somebody like Muhammad Ali, you know what I mean? Like, and fighters like that, like, these guys have rhythmic movement. Yes, they're great movers, but when they move, it's a poetry to their movement. And see, that's why Tyson Fury is so devastating, because he's not only a good puncher, those great punches, has a great jab, and he's a big guy. And on top of all these different factors and characteristics, he's also a great mover. And for somebody to be that big and it can move that well, bro, it's going to be hard to beat somebody like that. It's going to be hard to beat somebody like that. But I will say this, he can be beat, because Deontay Wilder, he did put him down, and arguably he did win that fight, even though Tyson Fury rose, you know what I'm saying, like the damn Undertaker. But he did show that Tyson Fury can be hurt, he can get knocked down, and if you put the right shot on him, or the right sequences of shots, you can put him down and possibly get him up out of there. And that's another thing that Deontay Wilder is going to have to learn. He needs to be a more polished finisher. Yes, he hurts guys. If he's not getting you with that 1-2, or just outright knocking you out with that right hand, once Deontay Wilder gets guys hurt, he's very bad at finishing. You know what I'm saying? He goes in, he be throwing a lot of random and wild shots. That's how he hurt his hand and he hurt his arm in previous fights. Because he just be throwing shots and shit, and when dudes be wrapping up and they be putting their guard up, you have to know what shots to throw. Once somebody goes in high guard and they shell up, especially on the ropes, you have to know what shots not only to throw, but you need to know how to position your body to throw these shots. That's how Tyson Fury was able to get his shots around Deontay Wilder's guard and bust his air drum. Because when Deontay Wilder puts his guard up, he has a tendency of not coming in close to his face. Deontay Wilder has a tendency to put his guard up like wide. You know what I mean? So, if you have if you're a fighter and you have a longer reach, knowing that Deontay Wilder puts his high guard up high and not wide, you have to come around with your shots. But not only you have to come around, now you're talking about your foot placement. So you're gonna have to step out and come in with your let me see, if you're conventional, if you're conventional, you're gonna have to come out with your hook. But that's all about foot placement. Now Tyson Fury has great footwork, has great foot placement, but like I said, more Tyson Fury. I think these are things that Sugar seen and calculated and had Tyson Fury drilling and practicing. And once fight night came, Trey, what's up, bro? Bomb Squad. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. You know what I mean? I'm happy to see Deontay Wilder back, man. The heavyweight division is, in my opinion, the heavyweight division is not the heavyweight division without Deontay Wilder, man. I mean, his energy, his passion, you know what I'm saying, his fire, it's electric. You know what I mean? Like, that does something to the division. And when he left, and when Tyson Fury left, like that, it was a bit of a void there. Deontay is a slugfest, like bar brawl, not a boxing match. Hold up. Brought up, but I agree. Brush needs to take a dancing lessons, watch some Ali film. Yeah, but check it out though. Hey, like, see, it's hard to say like he need to watch some Ali film because you can watch thousands of hours of film, but certain fighters learn just like certain kids learn or people learn in general. They have different mental aptitudes as far as how perceptive they are to learning. Especially when you're not talking about like book smarts or reading comprehension. You're talking about physical comprehension, and motorized skills is something different. And Deontay Wilder, I'm not going to say he's like mechanical, but I will say he's a bit clanky in the mobility department. He's not a fluid fighter. His best punch sequence is his 1-2. Deontay is a great overachiever. He learned boxing at a very late age of 20 plus years. Exactly. You know what I mean? And the fact that he learned late, I'm not saying, well, to a degree it went against him. But like I said, his power was the ultimate equalizer. So when you have somebody that had, and that's the kind of power this guy gifted. He was born with that power. That's a part of him. You know what I mean? Like on some Samson and Delilah, Hercules type shit. Like it's just a gift from the gods. So it doesn't matter, and the power is the last thing to leave the fighter. So it don't matter if Deontay Wilder is 34 years of age, 35, 36, it don't matter. His power ain't going nowhere. As long as Deontay Wilder is going to be fighting, he's going to have power. That's why, in my opinion, if I'm a trainer, you're going to polish his 1-2. Instead of always throwing your 1-2 on a straight line, okay, take a half step pivot to your left or to your right. Only fighter I see him losing to his big baby. I see him losing to? You saying Big Baby Davis? He loses to Big Baby Davis? I don't know, bro. I think he beats Big Baby Davis. Even though Big Baby, I don't know, Big Baby can box. He can box. But Big Baby Davis is I think Wilder knocks him out. I think Wilder knocks him out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nah, the young one, Big Baby, you know. Okay. Okay, you talking about the young dude. The up and coming boy. Yeah, he's solid. And he's not only big, but he's athletic and he can punch. So that is he's a threat. You know what I'm saying? He's a threat for Deontay Wilder. For a comeback fight, that will be a bad fight to put Deontay Wilder in there because, like I said, he's young, he's aggressive, he can punch, he has size, he's athletic, he has good endurance, and he's hungry. And you put somebody like that in there with Deontay Wilder, you know he's a name, you know a fight like that, you know a victory over Deontay Wilder, that will put him in contention. That will put him in contention. Wherever he is at on the rank, as far as rankings, let's just say if he's number 7 or number 8, if he fights Deontay Wilder and Miller beats or he knocks out Deontay Wilder, that's going to bump him up 2 to 3 spots. So you're going to go from, low top 10 to now, that's going to put you in the top 5. That's going to put you in the top 5. So now they're talking about you fighting fighters like Ruiz, you know what I mean? Or possibly getting a shot. You may be 1 fight or 2 fights away from getting a shot at Usyk or something like that. That's how the narrative and the conversation is going to change for a fighter like that. That's why I said between Ruiz, Chisora, and Joshua, that's probably, as far as names, as far as names that Deontay Wilder, even though he's just coming back, that he can beat all those guys. He can beat Andy Ruiz, he can beat Anthony Joshua, and he can beat Chisora. But those guys are names, and although Deontay Wilder can beat them, they won't be, especially Ruiz and Joshua. Those won't necessarily be easy fights. The only reason why that Deontay Wilder has a shot at beating these guys, because number one, his power and his skill set. And these guys aren't great movers. But I will say Andy Ruiz, he has very fast hands. That is the only, and that's the biggest problem in a Ruiz and Wilder fight, is the fact that Andy Ruiz, for a big guy, besides Joseph Parker, he has his hand speed, because that's how he fucked Anthony Joshua up. Anthony Joshua was looking at this big fat dude thinking like, you know what I'm saying, like, who the fuck was this dude? You know what I'm saying? But then when Andy Ruiz started throwing those fucking hands, he was like, what the fuck? And that's how he caught Anthony Joshua. He caught Anthony Joshua in the temple, in the eardrum region, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Had Anthony Joshua fucked up. If he lets Andy get inside, then he's gonna have problems. Exactly. You know what I mean? You can't allow, because Andy Ruiz has the shorter reach, the faster hands, and Andy Ruiz has a devastating left hook. You know what I mean? With his speed, if he gets on the inside and he gets Wilder at the right angle and catches Wilder at the right angle, he can knock Deontay Wilder out. But Deontay Wilder, he has one of the best 1-2s in the business, especially in the heavyweight division. And he has a good jab, he has an athletic jab, and he has believe it or not, he has a disciplined jab. It may not be polished like a Devin Haney or something like that, but Deontay Wilder, he does, for his skill set and for how his style is, he has a disciplined jab, the way that he throws it, because he can throw that jab in different ways. It may look sloppy, but all he has to do is get just the right opening, and then you know he's going to shoot that right hand. And his right hand is deceptively quick. Deontay Wilder's right hand is deceptively quick, bro. When he throw that right hand, like, for you seen it, especially when he fought Ruiz. You know what I mean? For him going, when he went up against, you know what I'm saying, a southpaw, awkward style, he kept on catching Ruiz. It's like he was catching Ruiz on good lines. He was setting great lines up for himself. But Andy Ruiz is also an orthodox fighter, so the line is going to be different on how he angles and sets up his shots. But a straight line is a straight line. But if he fights somebody like Ruiz, he's going to have to shift from being right in front of Andy Ruiz to shifting just slightly. You want to turn Andy Ruiz, or make Andy Ruiz turn just slightly, especially if you're pawing and you're working and you're chiseling him down with the jab before you set up that right hand. But like I said, Wilder has a deceptively good left hook and uppercut. So these are two shots that you can't sleep on Deontay Wilder, because he caught I forgot what's his name, man. Brazil. He caught Brazil with it, and he caught Tyson Fury with that shit too. You know what I mean? He caught Tyson Fury with that. After he caught him with the shot, he caught him with the left hook, then the uppercut. And I tell any fighter, the uppercut is one of the shots in boxing that fighters sleep on. And if you have a polished uppercut, you know what I'm saying, that's one of the most destructive punches that you could have. You know what I mean? Because especially if you fighting somebody like who is aggressive, like Anthony Joshua, okay, now you want to be more aggressive. So now Usyk knows he's already a great boxer. So now that's a punch, or that's a shot that he's going to have to dust off and make sure that he puts in his arsenal. Because of Anthony Joshua, if you want to press him, if you want to press me now, okay, all I got to do is just box you and just turn you and set Anthony Joshua up for the uppercut. Because when you fighting somebody like that, I'm telling you, man, the uppercut is a great neutralizer for when you fighting an aggressive opponent. Also, when you fighting somebody who cuts that distance. And with Wilder being a bigger guy, if you fought somebody like Ruiz, who was the shorter guy, you know what I mean? If Ruiz is coming in trying to close that distance and he drops his head a little bit, you know what I mean, because he's trying to avoid that shot, man, all Wilder has to do, because, you know, at that point, Andy Ruiz, he can't look at your shoulders to see where your shots are going to come from, so he's going to look at your feet. So all you have to do, and like I said, you have to be a pretty decent mover. Wilder's going to have to shift his feet, and when he shifts his feet, when he look at Andy Ruiz about to shift his feet, that's when you shoot the uppercut. And when you shoot that uppercut, you know what I'm saying, you don't shoot for the body, you shoot like you're trying to dig for his chin. And that's going to make him shell up. And when he shells up, that's when you transition and you move your feet. And if you're Deontay Wilder, then this when you open up with the left hook. You come with your left hook. Matter of fact, you should double up on it. Double up to the body and then go to the head. And then you turn again. And then you set him up for that straight right hand. You know what I mean? And if you don't catch him, you definitely want to stun him. And with Andy Ruiz being a shorter guy at that point, his guard is already going to be kind of broken. And Deontay Wilder, his right hand is so powerful that it can break through your guard. Anthony Joshua likes Stavern. Stavern is a prime example. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knocks Stavern out, you know what I'm saying, a couple times by just breaking through his guard with raw power. So when you break up somebody when they coming at you in that high guard, sometimes you just want to disrupt them enough that you shift up their guard, that you get that opening. But you're going to have to bring your feet into play to turn them and to get yourself in position. And once you're able to do that, if you can get that straight right hand, if you're Deontay Wilder, it's going to be over, man. It is going to be over. That's why I said, man, Ruiz, Joshua, and Chisora. And I think, like, with the Chisora fight, but you can't sleep on Chisora, man. Like I said, he's a tough guy. And Chisora, he also has power, and he's willing to get hit in order to get his offense off, which is to his detriment, but at the same time, he's a tough guy. You know what I mean? He does have a chin. So if he can take Deontay Wilder's power, that's going to be an interesting fight. It truly is with Chisora. But Joshua has already proven if you catch him with the right shot, you can get Joshua up out of there. You can get Joshua up out of there early. So that's why Joshua is the better boxer than Deontay Wilder. But I believe Deontay Wilder is the better fighter. Now, and Deontay Wilder, believe it or not, man, like, he also got a chin. When he got hurt by Luis Ortiz, yes, the ref did kind of give him a little bit of extra time, but still, man, you know what I mean? Like, he ain't dropping. You know what I mean? He ain't dropping. You know what I'm saying? It didn't knock him out. And going back to the Tyson Fury knockout, a large part of him getting knocked out was because of his basically being fatigued. He ain't had nothing in the tank. That is why he ultimately got knocked out, because he ain't had nothing in the tank. His legs was gone. They talk about because of the outfit coming up from the basement or whatever his locker room was, the outfit that Deontay had on, doing this, you know what I'm saying, coming to the ring, that took a lot out of him physically. So therefore, I mean, that hurt him in the fight. Look, it ain't nobody's fault that you want to come with fucking helmets and all this lights and all this kind of shit on your fucking robe. Hell no, man. You don't need all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You better get on some Mike Tyson shit, man. Shit, black shorts, black robe, and that's it. A mouthpiece. And take your ass to the ring. All that other shit, you know what I'm saying? You don't need all that, especially if you're just going to use it as an excuse later on in the fight if you happen to lose. But, I mean, this is going to be a... This will be interesting, man. You know what I mean? To see how Deontay Wilder, I guess, reacclimates to the sport. Me personally, I just want to see who he's going to fight, because all the three names that I spoke of, they have spoke about fighting or wanting to fight Deontay Wilder. So Deontay Wilder is either going to fight one of those three names, or he's going to fight a bottom feeder. He's going to fight somebody in the lower rankings. That's going to be his comeback fight. It may be somebody that we heard of, but he's not a potential threat. But if he goes the other route and he fights one of these guys who have a name, and they could possibly go 50-50, they could beat him. Like I said, Andrew Ruiz can beat him. Anthonyjoshua can beat him. I believe his chances with Chisora is a little bit better. But like I said, you can't sleep on Chisora because he's tough. And also he does have power. So those two things right there kind of gives Chisora a fighting chance. But Chisora said he wants to taste Deontay Wilder's power. That's fine. But if he tastes Deontay Wilder's power, and he can take Deontay Wilder's power, then the fight may wind up being a little bit different between Chisora and Wilder. But we're just going to have to see. But what do you guys think as far as heavyweights? Who do you think has the best chance at possibly giving Deontay Wilder's problems, number one? And who do you think they're going to put him in the ring with? Somebody in the top 5 or one of the lower guys in the top 10? Like I said, I think it was he spoke about Miller, which is a young guy, up and coming. I don't see. Do you think Thurman can beat Danny at 54? Do I think Thurman can beat Danny at 54? I would say yes. And the reason why I'm going to say yes is because Thurman just got finished saying that he wouldn't mind going up to 154 to fight Danny in a rematch. He believes that he has Danny Garcia's number. He believes that, as he said it himself, when it comes to Danny Garcia, I believe I have his number. I believe it will be a chess match. But as we all know, in the game of chess, Thurman considers himself the Grand Master. So therefore, whatever Danny Garcia believes that he can do at 154 as far as the moves and all that and abilities, Keith Thurman believes that he is the better fighter. Now, and also he pointed out when he beat Danny Garcia back in the day, I think it was 2017, he said that he beat Danny Garcia with bone spurs and all this kind of shit. He wasn't even, quote unquote, at 100%. And Danny Garcia said himself, back when he fought Keith Thurman, that was the best version of Keith Thurman between that version back then and the Keith Thurman back now. So if you're talking about a Keith Thurman back then who wasn't even 100%, so he claims, but Danny Garcia says something otherwise, that you just will have to see. But Danny Garcia, man, for his first fight at 154 between Benavidez, even though both of these guys were both coming up to 154, in my opinion, the only difference between them and a seasoned veteran at 54 is really just a seasoned veteran may walk around heavier. They're coming back to camp or they're training and they're cutting weight. But if you are coming up in weight and you're acclimating to the division, to some degrees, that could be better because you're putting on, number one, muscle. You're not cutting fat, so you're putting on muscle. So the weight that you put on is going to be muscle. So it's just really a conditioning factor, an endurance factor. And he looked good against Jose Benavidez, you know what I'm saying? And Danny Garcia always looked pretty good. He's never really had an issue with conditioning and endurance. He always comes to the fight in great shape. And him moving up to 154, he looked in great shape. Now, Keith Thurman is a little bit different. Sometimes Keith Thurman can tend to gas out. And being as though Keith Thurman is also sweet in the body, if he fought Danny Garcia at 54, and if Danny Garcia pays attention to Keith Thurman's body like he did Jose Benavidez, Danny Garcia can wind up breaking Keith Thurman down and hurting or knocking Keith Thurman out if they fought at 54. Because Keith Thurman is sweet at the body. You know what I mean? Every fight that he fights, except, matter of fact, I think even when he fought Barrios caught him to the body. But Manny Pacquiao hurt Keith Thurman to the body. He hurt Keith Thurman. He hurt Keith Thurman bad to the body. Bad to the body. You know what I mean? Besides the knockdown, he caught Keith Thurman nice. Keith Thurman actually had the they showed him he opened up his mouth, popped out his mouthpiece a little bit so he can breathe, and he immediately retreated. You know what I'm saying? Got on his bicycle. So Danny Garcia, man, can punch. He has power. If he catches Keith Thurman to the body with the right shot, he can hurt Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? If he gets on Keith Thurman, because Danny Garcia isn't known for being a devastating finisher, but giving where they are at in the ring, and then what he catches Keith Thurman with, you know what I mean? Like Danny Garcia can he can give Keith Thurman, man, he can give Keith Thurman some problems at 54, man. So to answer that question, I would say, given the circumstances, Keith Thurman could beat Danny Garcia at 54, and I do believe that Danny Garcia can beat Keith Thurman at 54. And being as though Danny Garcia has already had one fight so far at 54, now he's not going back down to 147 no time soon, if ever. So he's going to continue to train and acclimate. The biggest thing for Danny Garcia right now is just to not blow up in weight too much. Don't blow up in weight. Between you just coming off a victory and you getting set up possibly for your next fight, whoever it may be, the thing for Danny Garcia is to don't blow up in weight. Don't blow up in weight. If I'm Danny Garcia, I would not go too far over. I would say no more than like 160, between 160 and like 162 or 164 or something like that. Don't go too far overweight. Yeah, you're going to have to be more disciplined, but at the same time, that'll be very important because your next, especially I would say as you going into a weight, your first two to three fights are going to be very important because your body is transitioning. Your body is getting acclimated to that weight. And when you have to train and learn how to cut weight, the endurance and your stamina and all that shit, it gets affected by it. And these guys are not as young as they once were. So you have to be smart. You know what I mean? You don't want your body to be going through too many changes. And that's one of the things that eventually will wind up hurting, if not hurting him now, is Errol Spence. Because Errol is a big dude, you know what I mean? And he has to cut a lot of weight. Errol, he blows up. He fights at 147, but he blows up to like shit. Errol be walking around and fucking, you know what I'm saying, 180 something, you know what I mean? Or if not more. So that's a lot of weight to have to cut once you're getting ready to go in camp. And if you're not used to it, it'll be real hard. You look at Jake Paul and Hasim Rahman, same thing. You a natural heavyweight, and then you have to cut weight like that, and your body physically is built and set up for that weight. It's hard to cut that weight. It doesn't matter if they give you a month or 2 months or whatever. If you're not physically acclimated and used to cutting that weight, it's going to be hard to do so. And now, given the Jake Paul situation with Hasim Rahman, the time that he had to cut that weight, basically they broke that shit down to like he had to lose like a pound a day. And I don't see why he couldn't have done that. When they said that he had a nutritionist, dietitian or whatever, he had the training, you know what I mean? He had a brand new trainer. He had everything he needed in order to cut that weight, and he still could not do it. So therefore, that tells me either Hasim Rahman really maybe didn't want to fight, or he just really wasn't disciplined enough. And his father, you know what I mean, was in his corner. So I'm sure his pop was probably, or should have been in his head, like what is you doing? If you're not serious about this fight, you should have never took it. But if you are serious about this fight, how can't you lose? I mean, 1 pound a day. You got regular people out here just with regular jobs, losing a fucking pound a day just by working. You know what I mean? So if you sparring and working out, and your whole day is predicated upon you sweating in the gym, how can't you lose a pound a day? How can't you lose a pound a day? Especially if you have somebody making your meals now, because the water weight, you're going to burn that water weight out in the gym. So you can't blame the water weight. So, you know what I mean? That situation is a little bit, you know what I mean, a little bit different. But like I said, Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman blows up too. Keith Thurman, he blows up in weight too. So 54 will probably be an easier transition for Keith Thurman. But being as though Danny Garcia has already had one fight at 54, I give him the benefit if they was able to fight at 54, because he got a fight already. And he's already pretty much started adjusting to the weight. And Keith Thurman, he hasn't looked that good since who knows how long. And if you look at Keith Thurman now, opposed to when he fought Mario Barrios, Keith Thurman already done put on a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, his face is fat as shit. You know what I'm saying? So he, or the man, I mean, as soon as that fight was over, Keith Thurman was fucking eating. You know what I mean? So he hasn't been really trying to maintain that weight. And maybe he hasn't been trying to maintain that weight because maybe, possibly, he was maybe thinking about going up to 154. And if that is the case, what better, you know what I mean? You already have your fight already. Danny Garcia, he called you out. You said you wouldn't mind fighting Danny at 154. Bam, the fight is right there. And you know they will make the fight. And if Danny Garcia, if they make the fight between him and Thurman, and Danny Garcia, if he wins that fight, then that's going to put Danny Garcia closer to possibly getting a shot at Charlo, because he wants to be a champion at 54. So you're not going to be able to do anything at 54 if you don't go through Charlo. So in order to get to Charlo, you know what I mean, you're going to have to look impressive, and it's probably going to take you, you know what I mean, maybe 2 to 3 fights. And he got one under his belt. If he fights Keith Thurman and he's able to beat Keith Thurman, especially being as though Keith Thurman took his O, you redeemed yourself, you know what I mean? You got your revenge for him taking his O. That's 2 fights under your belt. Now for your third fight, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who he'll fight for his third fight. Probably man, I forgot the brother's name too, man. I forgot his name. Damn, man. Charlo, damn, man. You know what I'm saying? Damn, man. He was on. I mean, he beat whatchamacallit too, man. And Charlo, damn, what's his name? Hey, thanks, Trey. You know what I mean? Like I said, man. I don't traditionally be doing the lives, man. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to get my lives back up. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that. Because like I said, I look at and I break fights down from the viewpoint of, like, if I was a trainer or I was a fighter. Did I used to box? Yes. Professionally, no. Because I was a knucklehead. I was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at fights, and I did martial arts and did all that shit too. But when I look at fights, I look at fights and I look at fighters as if I was a trainer. If I had this guy, or if I was training this guy, what would I do? You know what I mean? If I was preparing my fighter for a fight and I know that he's fighting a guy who has certain type of advantages, or he's bringing this to the table, how or what would I do? That's how I try to look at it. And that's how generally, that's how my analysis, you know what I mean, comes to play. But also to some degree, I spoke about this before. Like, yes, it's like part analysis. Also, it's from the viewpoint of an educated fan, which I call a fan-analysis. You know what I mean? So my fan-analysis point of view is how I like to look at and break these different fight scenarios down. Because one thing fans sometimes they don't do, they're not honest with themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you're a fan, so you are not. So whatever fighter or whatever that you're going with, you think they can't do no wrong. No, that's not a good way to think about it, especially when it comes to the sport of boxing. Because if you have an off night, and you can be the best fighter in the world, if you have an off night, that could either end in two ways. You can get knocked out, or you can lose. You know what I mean? Now, you look at, like I said, from Tiafimo, you know what I'm saying, to Cambosis, to, you know what I mean, so on and so forth. If you have an off night, how does Bud think he will get a fight with Charlo if they can't even make the fight with Spence? They just got finished. They just got finished interviewing Bud. I seen that interview today, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was with Fight Hub. If you get a chance, I don't know if you've seen that interview already. You know what I'm saying, but just go check out Fight Hub and their recent interview with Terence Crawford, and he actually spoke on that. He kind of misspoke, but then he cleaned it. He cleaned that shit up. And long story short, he said that hopefully they will be making that fight soon. And like I said, y'all, the fight, it will happen this year, but it's all about, dollars and cents. I believe that Spence wants the bigger portion of the pie, but at the same time, Spence is going to have to humble himself and realize, even though you may make more money in the fight, you still have to respect Terence Crawford to the point that you can't just pay this fucking dude peanuts. You know what I mean? Because I've told you, it's an ego thing involved too. Because keep in mind, people revere Terence Crawford as pound for pound the best fighter in the world. So they looking at, okay, this is this is Errol Spence. Like, they looking at this fucking guy like he the best fighter in the world. Okay. So you, quote unquote, you the best fighter in the world, I'm gonna make more money than you. Aaron not gonna come out and say that shit, but that's how he's going about this fight. You know what I mean? He wants to have the financial, I guess, what's a good way to put it? Basically, he's want to make more fucking money, man. You know what I mean? Okay, if they say you're a better fighter than me, okay, that's fine. But you ain't gonna make more money than me. And if you Terence Bud Crawford, you shouldn't give a damn. As long as I'm gonna fucking eat, because Bud is gonna make money, not only make money in a fight, but then you got sponsorships and all this kind of shit. And even after the fight is over with, even a fight, when it's all said and done, these fucking guys are still going to make money off of this fight. End of the day, I believe that's how they setting this fucking shit up. When this fight is over with, they are still going to make money after the fight. That's how they're trying to set this shit up. That is why this fight has the potential to be a trilogy, in my opinion. Most definitely, they should have a rematch clause. That's without a shadow of a doubt. That's on both of these guys should want that. And depending upon what they do in the first fight and the second fight, that is basically just setting up a potential third fight for these two guys. And if they fight 3 times, both of these guys are eventually, at that point, going to move to 154. I believe, and I said this many times, they should set this fight up where it winds up being a trilogy. Errol Spence already says he wants to move up because, like I said, Errol's a big guy. And the older you get, the harder it gets to keep cutting weight going down like that. So I think Errol was Danny versus Lubin. Lubin, that's a good fight. That's a good fight. But see, Lubin, yo, man, you know what I'm saying? First of all, Lubin and Garcia, this is for you. If you Lubin, that fight should make you feel better, because after what Fundora did to fucking Lubin, yo, he had fucking Lubin looking like two different people, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I showed the pictures of Lubin before the fight and then showed a picture after the fight. Like, it literally looked like two different people. You know what I'm saying? What Fundora did to Lubin, he gave him a fucking facelift during that fight. You know what I mean? So, is Lubin mentally, where's he at mentally? You know what I mean? Because he got fucked up when he fought Fundora. Now, it'll be a breath of fresh air him fighting somebody like Garcia, just because they damn near the same fucking height. You know what I mean? Because when he fought Fundora, he thought that, you know what I mean? He had a couple of really, I ain't gonna even say a couple of rounds, man, but he had a couple of spots in the fight, man, where he rallied back. And he had one time where he got with Fundora and he actually hurt him, you know what I mean? But Fundora, you know what I mean, he recovered, you know what I'm saying, very nicely. And then he got back to doing what he was doing throughout the fight that made him successful. And like I said, Fundora, man, like, this fucking kid is a fucking problem, man. For him to be so big and to know how to compact his style, especially on the inside. This dude is fucking tall as shit. And the way that he can compact his style and fight on the inside and get his shots off is fucking amazing, and still have power on those shots. So, I mean, Fundora, man, for him to be young and for him to be that damn big in that division, I mean, he's going to be a problem, yo. Like, Fundora's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be a problem moving forward. And I believe, just like Jaron, in my opinion, just like Jaron Boots Ennis is like the next up when it comes to the welterweight divisions, how his career or whatever has been progressing for him to take over that division. Ultimately, as crazy as it may seem, I believe that eventually Fundora, if he continues to improve, if he continues to get better, and if he puts on just a bit more, you know what I'm saying, muscle, which he will, because like I said, he's young, and he's definitely going to get stronger in the division. Yo, Fundora he's possibly going to be the future at 54. And it's going to be tough for anybody to fucking beat him with his range and his height and his ability. You know what I mean? Like, if he gets better at utilizing his jab and learning how to fight at distance, because his inside game is there. His inside game for him to be young is solid already and is devastating. He showed that when he fought Lubin. But if he gets better on the inside and continues to polish his mid-range game and his jab, yo, Fundora is going to be, he's going to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Fundora's going to be that guy. But Lubin and Garcia, that will be that would be a good fight. I think that would be a good fight for Danny. So that's a good look right there, bro. Who was that? I think that was that was Trey. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Yeah, that is, you know what I'm saying? I had to rinse you up, Trey. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a couple, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had to rinse you up, dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start building my army, because, you know what I'm saying, you're the first person that I rinsed up on the channel, man. You know what I mean? First person. So that'll be a good fight, man. That'll be a good fight. That'll most definitely be a good fight. And when I talk about Danny Garcia moving forward, possible fights at 54, I most certainly will have to include Erickson Lubin. But I can't forget Harris. I think it's Harrison. You know what I'm saying? I think he also said that he wants to fight Well, he wouldn't mind fighting Danny Garcia. You know what I mean? So that's also I think that's a good fight. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a tougher fight though. I think that's a tougher fight. You know what I'm saying? But Lubin being a southpaw, you know what I mean? But just how Lubin got beat by Fundora, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, coming back to the psychology of the sport, coming back to the psychology of boxing. If not this year, then next year in February for Black History Month. I would say yeah, because it's August. I don't see Danny Garcia fighting again this year, especially if he stays at 54. I don't see Danny Garcia fighting again. He's probably going to take the rest of this year to I only enjoy that victory, but as he stated, after the fight, man, like it was a lot that was invested in this fight, in his training camp, in this way back for him getting back at this position and point in his career, dealing with the anxiety and dealing with the depression, you know what I mean, and just the pressures and the rigors of the sport of boxing, man, you know what I mean, because see, like Jose Benavidez, he's not going to be on that top level. Jose Benavidez, at this point in his career and moving forward, he will be along the lines of like a fucking journeyman or something like that. I wouldn't even consider him a gatekeeper. You know what I mean? Because even a gatekeeper has to be he got to be a tough opponent. You know what I mean? And I can't even call Jose Benavidez a gatekeeper. I'll say he's a journeyman. You know what I'm saying? So, but he will never be at that top level. He just ain't got the skill. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the Benavidez brothers, you know what I'm saying, the younger brother, I said it before, he's the cash cow. He's the one to talk about. He's the most skillful. You know what I mean? He's the one that's going to have, and he has already had the better career. Even though, Benavidez, this is Jose, he's fought Crawford, and besides Crawford, and now Danny Garcia, that's the two probably best names on his resume. Which, when you really look at it, that's a blessing in itself. To look at it and say, you know what I mean, you fought some of the best guys in boxing, future Hall of Famers, you know what I'm saying, future champions, well, past champions, possibly, you know what I mean, current and future champions, but you lost to them all. You know what I mean, it would have been better if he was able to get a victory out of those fights, but the fact that he lost to these guys, pretty much just proved that point, you know what I mean? Yes, he was able to get on that stage, but at the end of the day, he couldn't seal the deal. And when it comes down to in the sport of boxing, man, like sometimes you can't always say, well, okay, I fought this person, I fought that person. Did you beat him? You know what I'm saying? Did you beat him? Or did you have that kind of fight where you got robbed? You know what I'm saying? Like the fans, everybody know that you beat him. You know what I'm saying? But you got that, your opponent got the A-side nod. So that's why you lost. But if you ask 100 people who won that fight, 50 people or 60 people, 60% may say, you know what, man, he won. He got robbed. I felt like Lubin messed up fighting Fundora fight. You can't say that, bro. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Fundora is in your division. And anybody who Fundora fights, when you look at physical characteristics, is going to look like a mismatch. He dropped Fundora. That's why I said he had, a couple of spots, but arguably Fundora still beat him. You know what I mean? Still outclassed him. You know what I mean? And he didn't do enough with the knockdown, and I believe he had shook Fundora up in that fight too. But besides all that, he didn't do enough to sway the judges. because he was taking too much damage. Like I said, he had a couple of good spots, a couple of good rallies, but ultimately, you know what I'm saying, from bell to bell, Fundora, he put most of the work in, bro. And when you look at Fundora face after the fight, and then you look at Lubin face after the fight, bro, like they was going over, the doctor was going over there to Lubin, bro, looking at fucking Erickson Lubin like, do you want to fucking continue? I mean, his face physically changed during the fight, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, anytime, and if you a fighter and you looking at your fighter, and internally, you know, like, because you see his fucking face have changed, it's like you want to throw in the towel. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I mean, you got to give, you know what I'm saying? You got to give Lubin his credit. He's a tough competitor, man. He didn't want to go out like that. He wanted to go out on a shield, and he did. You know what I mean? And I respect him for that. That's what I'm saying. When you put yourself through that type of test, that shit can fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like, everybody can't bounce back from shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So after he lost to Fundora, have you seen, I mean, me personally, I haven't seen, you haven't seen Erickson Lubin. Haven't seen anybody talking about him, nothing. He kind of dropped off the radar a little bit, because after that, dog, you got to do a hard reset. You know what I'm saying? You got to take some time, heal up, get yourself right physically, mentally, before you talk about or think about or even doing any motherfucking thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to get your shit right. And once you get your shit right mentally, now you're starting to talk about, okay, who are you going to fight when you're coming back? Then you're starting to talk about, okay, are you going to fight somebody who everybody know that you will beat, or do you want to test yourself? Not too many fighters are picking that route where, you know what, that's why you got to salute Errol Spence. Appreciate it, bro. Oh, no doubt. Like I said, bro, it was I think he left already, but like I said, bro, because generally, I don't know if that was you or the boy Dale, when they asked, like, what time do my show traditionally come on, and like right now, like when I did the live, like right now, this was kind of like a spur of the moment kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I watched some footage of Deontay Wilder, J-Rock versus Danny is good too. No, J-Rock, I believe, because they asked Jaron Boots Ennis, because you know J-Rock from Philly, just like Danny, just like Boots, and they asked Boots after the Danny Garcia fight about Danny Garcia possibly fighting J-Rock, and Boots was like, nah, because J-Rock is moving up to 60. And you know J-Rock, man, like he's kind of had a tough go at it. You know what I'm saying? He done lost, you know what I'm saying, a couple fights in a row. After he fought the Banana, you know what I'm saying, Jason the Banana, whatever, forgot his last name. But after he got destroyed by him and then lost again, you know what I mean? It's like, once you have back-to-back losses, like, you gotta do some fucking soul searching. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something there's something that's different in you. You know what I'm saying? You look at the heavyweight boy, the boy from Brooklyn, Kaunaki, that just lost. He just lost again to the Arabic brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was looking at Kaunaki to go in there and beat this guy. But what happened? You know what I'm saying? He went in there and he lost again. So that's like his third or fourth loss in a row. And bro, when you start to lose consecutively like that, your career is in jeopardy. And depending upon what kind of caliber fighter that you are, that's really going to dictate how fast either I don't know. I don't want to say how fast you'll rise, but I would say how fast you'll fall. Now, Julian J-Rock Williams is he's a great fighter, bro. I mean, he's a great fighter. When he beat Jared Hurd, like he looked, phenomenal. He looked fucking phenomenal. And then when he fought, the boy Jason, when he fought the Banana, it's like he looked totally different. But he said it himself. There are certain lapses that he did or went through, whatever, in training camp. Meaning, when fighters say some shit like that, that's just basically saying they didn't take the camp seriously. You know what I mean? You thought that you would be able to go in there and beat your opponent, whatever knowledge or whatever that you had at the specific time. You felt as though you didn't have to prepare for this man, which I don't care who you are. I don't care what level that you are. You never assume that the guy that you're fighting is going to be an easy win. Because this dude could have just been, could have been the hungriest motherfucker in the world, bro. And they were just waiting for their opportunity. If you are truly hungry in the sport of boxing and you truly want to be great, and you truly want to be a champion, the biggest thing that you're fighting for and waiting for is an opportunity. And once you get that opportunity, you are going to damn near, because you already got to be willing to put your life on the line, because you do that every time you step into the ring. So why bullshit with it? So when you get that opportunity, you are literally going to leave it all in the fucking ring. And that's what they did. And that's how Julian J-Rock got beat badly. Because he took advantage of his opponent from the standpoint of he felt as though they were sweet. He felt as though he was better than they was. But then he found out real quick that he wasn't. So, and not only did it happen once, but it happened more than once. So J-Rock, he's not going to be able just to, it's going to be hard for him to bounce back, bro. And somebody like Danny, even though they are from Philly, you know what I'm saying? Like Danny Garcia, bro, is a great fucking boxer, bro. Danny is nice. Danny Garcia is nice. And he showed that, like, people was looking at how Danny was boxing Jose Benavidez. Danny Garcia boxed. I wish his power was the only thing that I would say hasn't acclimated to the weight yet. But his boxing ability, he looked better than he's ever, I ain't gonna say look better than he's ever looked, but to date, he has looked, that's the best that Danny Garcia looked. He didn't put that display on when he fought Errol Spence. And he could have gave Errol Spence a better fight. I got Charlo beating Fundora in the 11th round stoppage. You may not believe me, bro, but I'm going to tell you like this. Fundora, I believe that, believe it or not, I don't know what it is, but it's coming, it's coming to the spirit, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let it be free. But I believe that he gives Charlo problems, bro. I know Charlo is I ain't gonna say probably. He is physically the stronger between the two. But I'm telling you, man, that the size, as far as height, and as far as the reach, and Fundora does have power, bro. It may not look like it because he's so tall, and because he is so tall, he looks so lanky. You know what I mean? But if you shorten Fundora up, you know what I mean, and that muscle density will look a little bit different. You know what I mean? But being as though he's so tall and he's so long, you know what I mean, he looks skinny, so he may not look like he has that power. But that's what I'm telling you, man. Like, you look at what he did to Lubin, and like I said, man, he is deceptively good on fighting on the inside. And for anybody fighting Fundora, they're going to have to get on the inside. And with the range and with the length that Fundora has, you know what I mean? Like, he has an advantage pretty much over anybody that he may face. Like, you're going to have to be willing to get caught with something in order to close that distance, in order to get on the inside, in order to try to hurt Fundora, because you're not going to be able to stay on the outside. You ain't going to be able to do it. So Charlo, I'm telling you, man, like, he can give anybody, including Charlo, problems. But just like Lubin got to him, Charlo can get to him. The only difference is, once you finally get to him, and once you finally able to put your hands on him and you hurt him, do you stop him? Because if you can't stop him and finish him or knock him out, Fundora's already proven he's still dangerous. He can bounce back. And being as though he's young, and for his size and height and all that, he comes into the fight in great shape. So you're going to have to either hurt him and stop him or knock him out. And if you can't hurt him and stop him or knock him out, then Fundora will give you a tough 12 rounds. And if he fought Charlo, and especially if that fight goes the distance, with the abilities that Fundora has, he's going to put hands on Charlo. Charlo may wind up getting touched more fighting somebody like Fundora than anybody else. And just with the physical abilities and advantages that Fundora, because of his height and his length, that he has over Charlo. Charlo is the stronger guy, yes, but being as though Fundora has a very good inside game, he can take the wind out of the sails of Charlo, bro. I'm telling you, by going to the body, by beating him up. If he catch Charlo a few times, you know what I'm saying, with that uppercut that he got, that he throws, and that he lands, and does have some Fundora, I'm telling you, man, Fundora, man, he ain't nothing to sleep on, bro. I'm telling you, he is nothing to sleep on. I'm curious to see who they will put him in there with next. Because the thing about being a big dog, and this is Charlo, whoever your mandatory is, you got to find out who his mandatory is, you know what I mean? But then you got to look at the rankings, you know what I mean, between the various rankings. And depending upon who his mandatory is going to determine the threat level. Now, with Danny Garcia just moving up, he still has to pretty much make his way. So honestly, man, I would honestly have to say Fundora is probably on Charlo's radar, depending upon what sanctioned bodies, well, probably all of them. You know what I mean? Like, you got to see where Fundora ranks. Because if he's in the top 5, I mean, look for him to be possibly getting a shot. Who knows, man, next year. Because Charlo has already said that he's not going to fight certain people, which in my opinion, that shit is nutty. Once you become the undisputed champion, in my opinion, you should fight everybody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yes, once you get all the belts, you don't stop fighting fucking people just because you get the belts. No, you still want to fight the best of the best. You know what I mean? That's why I'm telling you, between Spence and Crawford, once they become undisputed, the question is, how long would they be undisputed? That's why they should fight each other 2-3 times. Because if they choose to fight each other just one time and then that'll be it, yeah, next, WBC have Keith Thurman as number 1, which is bullshit, but okay. But Jaron Boots Ennis is the IBF mandatory. So if Spence happened to beat Crawford, becomes undisputed, let's just say Jaron Boots Ennis, he gets a shot at that IBF title. And consequently, he gets a shot at all the titles because of that. Chances are, bro, Boots is going to beat Spence. Because between Spence, and this is in my opinion, but a lot of people feel the same way. I don't know how you feel, but in my opinion, between Spence and Crawford, Crawford is a tougher fight for Jaron Boots Ennis as far as skill set. Because you can't say Spence is bigger than Jaron Boots Ennis. You know what I'm saying? Boots also has size, also has power in both hands. And the fact that he can switch and he's more athletic than Errol and with the abilities that Jaron Boots Ennis has. And more importantly, Boots has said on many occasions, like, y'all haven't even seen fucking 50% of what I can do because I haven't had to get in my bag yet. You know, I mean, do you know how fucking retarded that is? When Jaron Boots Ennis has been knocking all of his opponents out, he's damn near 30-0, and he's been knocking everybody the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has been able to go past 6 rounds with Boots. You know what I'm saying? Delorme and Castillo Clayton, he knocked one out. He knocked Delorme out with the first round, knocked Castillo Clayton out in the second round. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, if you fight Boots, if you are his opponent, you have to be thinking in your fucking head, once round 5 is here and we going into the 6th round, you have to be thinking, will I make it out of this round? I don't give a damn who you are. You have to be thinking, will I make it out of this round? Because history has shown and proven nobody has been able to survive more than 6 rounds going up against Jaron Boots Ennis. Nobody. And on top of that, everybody that he has fought, they keep on saying it's a step up, it's a step up, it's a step up. And they do nothing but get stepped on. So if he fights Spence or Crawford, but I have to give Crawford props, big props, because Bud has not only given Boots props, but Bud was like, look, man, he's like, if that fight come up, he was like, I'll take you more. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'll take you, I mean, because he knows that Boots wants that fight. Boots has not been humble, and it ain't just something that just popped the fuck up. Boots have been calling these dudes out for years. Not only Spence and Bud, but also Thurman, also Porter. You know what I mean? And when Porter gave Boots props, but then he went on the Porter Way podcast and started talking shit about Boots, Boots came back and was like, shit, well, you ain't that far removed from being retired. Come back and fight me. Since you want to say that, you know what I mean, you want to go from saying I'm this, I'm that, and then go, you know what I mean, go back to, you know what I mean, talking shit about me, man, come out of retirement and I'll fuck you up. Like, come on, man, what you think Sean Porter did? You know what I mean? Like, man, I ain't messing with these young boys. Sean Porter know. Like, yes, you went in there and you gave Errol Spence a hell of a fight. But if you go in there and you fight somebody like Jaron Boots Ennis, if Crawford stops you, Boots is either gonna stop. Boots will either stop Porter or knock him out. And given Jaron Boots Ennis knockout ratio, he will probably knock Sean Porter out. And with the skill set of Bud and Spence, it still doesn't matter. When you look at, but Fedora didn't even use his reach, though he just rather brawl. He did use his reach, but he beat Lubin up on the inside because, like I said, Lubin knew, and his corner knew that you're not going to win this fight if you can't get on the inside, because you can't beat him at range. You don't have the, I mean, your jab ain't gonna reach him. You know what I mean? And you're gonna have to get on the inside. And see, Fedora, like I said, is just great at fighting on the inside for being a tall guy. He knows how to compact his style. For him to be so tall and so long, for him to learn how, for him to know how to compact his style and still get his shots off on the inside, to be crisp, clean, fast, strong, and precise. That's skill, bro. That's skill. So whoever Fedora fights, bro, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to be, you have to, your inside game is not only going to have to be good, but you're going to have to pick your shots and get up out of there. And the bad thing about that is, once you get up out of there, you can't reestablish utilizing your jab, because fundamentally, Fedora is going to be the one that has the longer reach. That's why I said if he's good, he's already good on the inside. But if he develops further his jab and learn how to utilize, you know what I mean, his right hand even better, he's going to be damn near unstoppable, bro. If he can learn how to keep his opponents mid-range and to keep them at a distance. And if he happened to let them come in on the inside, he does so, being, you know what I mean, from the aspect of, you know what I mean, basically setting them up for a track, bro, he'll be unstoppable. He'll be unstoppable. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the benefit of his abilities because of his height and because of his range and because of his youth. And like I said, he's also pretty durable because Lubin, as you stipulated, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Lubin did get him down, even though he bounced back up. And Lubin also hurt him. I think he hurt him with a left hand. I think he hurt him with a straight left hand. But he hurt him too. And when he hurt him, Fundora was hurt, but he reset and got a little distance and he recovered, you know what I'm saying, fairly quickly. So that's the youth. And being as though, like I said, he's tall as shit and he got them long, skinny ass legs, they strong. You know what I mean? So if you want to get Fundora in trouble, you got to chop him down. But that comes at a risk because you have to get on the inside. So that's going to come at a risk. So I'm telling you, man, like whoever Fundora fights moving forward, I mean, besides you having to be a good boxer, I mean, you're going to have to be willing to take risks, and you're going to have to be, your inside game is going to have to be good. You know what I mean? Charlo, they're not known for being great. He's not known for being great on the inside, but he's strong and he can fight on the inside. And if he develops, you know what I'm saying? If he develops a couple of shots, I mean that could be a great fight, man. But I'm telling you, man, Fundora can give Charlo problems. I mean, I'm telling y'all, man, he can give Charlo problems. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, Tony Harrison, Erickson Lubin, for Danny Garcia, I think those would be good fights at 154. But 154, I mean, that's not traditionally a deep division. You know what I'm saying? As far as up and comers, you know what I mean? Like 147. You know what I'm saying? 147 or 130. You know what I'm saying? Or even 140. So Danny Garcia moving up to 154 to possibly get a shot at being a champion again, or a 3-division world champion. His shot at doing so will probably be better at 154 than it would be at 40. You know what I mean? So because of the competition at 154. So that's why I said Charlo, depending upon who his mandatory is, you know what I mean? Like the top guy at 54 is your Fundoras, your Lubins, your Tony Harrisons, you know what I mean? Like these guys, even though I think he fought Tony Harrison already, because of the division isn't so deep, Tony Harrison is still one of the best guys in the division. But the young guy Fundora, I mean, he's going to get his shot. He's going to get a shot at the title, bro. You know what I mean? Sooner rather than later. So how long will Jermell Charlo be at 54? Eventually, that's the question is people are going to start to ask. How long will he campaign at 54? How long? Because Danny Garcia, and like I said, with Spencer Crawford, what they're going to do, they're possibly going to fight, and then they're going to move up. And now you think Boots beats Charlo, and how? Can Boots beat Charlo at 54? Yes. He already said that he wants to go up to 54. Just like when he cleans out 47, he wants to go to 54 and do the same thing. So if Charlo is at 54, hypothetically, when Boots clears out 47 and he moves up to 54, it'd be inevitable that they fight. That's number one. And how he beats Charlo is you're going to have to outbox him. Charlo is strong. He's physically strong. He has a great jab, a strong jab, cuts off the ring well. He throws strong, short burst combinations. But as I said, you can have a great jab, a strong jab, but your jab is most effective is when your opponent is in front of you. Now you can throw the jab to the body, you know what I'm saying? You can throw the straight jab. You can there's various jabs you can throw. And Charlo's most effective at throwing his jab when he throws it traditionally, when he throws that power jab. He's not known for having like, you know what I'm saying, like a quick, like a Roy Jones type of jab. You know what I'm saying? Like he just popped that bitch up out there. No, his jab does the most damage when his feet are set. You know what I'm saying? When he gets that power jab off. But I just don't see him outboxing Jaron Boots Ennis because Boots is a great young boxer, but he's slick. He's slick. And he's not only slick as far as upper body movement, his feet is also dangerous too. He's a great mover. He's athletically, he's very gifted. You know what I'm saying? He moves deceptively well, you know what I mean? Especially at close range. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes, you know what I'm saying, have good footwork when they're I ain't gonna say when they're retreating, but you know what I'm saying, when they're getting out of the way of shots and you know what I mean, moving away either laterally from their opponent or fighting off of the back foot. But Boots has great footwork even on the inside. And for Charlo, you're going to have great footwork because he has power and he can box. So, and the best way to take away his jab, especially that power jab, is to be able to move your head. You know what I mean? And Boots can do that. You know what I mean? Boots can stand right in front of him and he can slip those shots. You know what I mean? Or he can catch them. And his footwork is good enough that he can slip and transition and catch Charlo. You know what I'm saying? Either it was with a counter body shot or, like I said, a right or a left hand. Because Boots can fight southpaw and he can fight orthodox. It doesn't matter. And he can fight off of the back foot. So it doesn't matter if if he chooses to press Jaron Boots Ennis, if he tries to chase Boots, he could set Charlo up because Boots can fight. Not only he can fight off of the back foot, but he can fight and he can switch. So whether he moves laterally or whether he moves forward or backwards, it doesn't matter. And Boots transitions from southpaw to orthodox seamlessly. He does it without even thinking. Bud does it generally when he gets hurt. You see him transition into a southpaw. Boots, he does it organically. He doesn't even know when he does it. You know what I mean? And that's dangerous because anywhere you go in the ring, you can set your opponent up. Wherever they try to cut the ring off and press you, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because naturally when you're moving already, even when a fighter skips and resets his feet, now you can reset in either stance. And when you reset in either stance, now you can come with your power shot from any angle. So that's a dangerous, dangerous fight for Charlo. And I believe that Boots is bigger than Charlo. Boots is like 5'8". Boots is I think Boots is 5'10", if I'm not mistaken, with a 74-inch reach. So Boots has height, Boots has range, and Boots has power. And Boots has power, like I said, in both hands. So I'm telling you, man, like he's going to break Charlo down. And Charlo is naturally aggressive. So you use that aggression against him. You know what I'm saying? When he's starting to press you, move your feet, catch him to the body, just keep turning them. Use your angles, use your jab. Boots has a nice jab, you know what I mean? And he likes to, and he can set you up with that overhand right hand from the jab at various angles. That's how he got Custio Clayton up out of there. And if he switches to the southpaw, he has a fantastic straight left hand. That's how he fucked up Delorme. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's a great fight. But to be honest with you, I think Charlo will try to avoid that fight. If Boots moved up to 54, which Charlo probably, he's not even going to be a champion by the time the Boots get to 54. Spence, and Crawford will probably be at 54 before before Boots gets to 54. Boots is being prepped and ready to take over the 147-pound division. Bud and Spence are on their way out. This will probably be the biggest fight at 147 for both of these guys. And after that, these guys are moving to 54. And after that, they're probably going to retire because I don't see Spence or Crawford going to 160. But I could possibly see Bud fighting at 160. Maybe I could even probably I don't know what the fuck just happened. But I could see them fighting at 160. I don't see them campaigning at 160 though, because of like I said, their age and because of their frames. By the time they get to 160, if they chose to fight at 160, you talking about Bud will probably be fucking 35, 36. You know what I'm saying? Errol will probably be 34, 35. So depending upon, you don't know how long they plan on fighting. Everybody don't plan on fighting until they're 40 years old, you know what I'm saying, like Pacquiao. Or better yet, you know what I'm saying, doing what Bernard Hopkins did. You know what I mean? Fighting when you fucking like 50. And you seen how that shit ended for Bernard. Like, you have to know your body, number one, and you have to know when it's time to hang it up. That's why you gotta get on some Floyd shit, and you have to make smart business decisions with your money. That's why I said your job as a fighter is to fight the best fights possible, hopefully. But your team, they're supposed to secure the bag for you. But your team, end of the day, they can give you advice, but they can't tell you how to live. You have to live with the mindset of, you know what, when I walk away from the sport of boxing, I want to make sure financially that I'm good for the rest of not only my life, but also my kids' lives. I want to make sure that I can send them to school, and I don't want to have to keep on like retiring and unretiring and get checks and shit like that, because my lifestyle is, you know what I mean? Don't let Floyd lie to you. That's why Floyd do what he do, because Floyd has a lifestyle from the houses, from the cars, and everything, even his security. You know the amount of money that Floyd spends just on his security team and shit like that? 24/7, 365. You know what I'm saying? Like, Floyd is spending a couple of dollars, man. So if you don't have businesses and things like that lined up where you're making perpetual revenue, then you're going to still have to fight. That's why you still see Floyd doing fucking exhibitions. And when he do these exhibitions, he's getting bags off of them. And keep in mind, he's not fighting American fucking fighters and shit. Besides, well, even Conor McGregor wasn't fucking American. But he's going over there to Japan and shit like that, and Saudi Arabia, because he will Dubai, because he know they're going to give him, you know what I'm saying, $5-10 million to fight no fucking body, because they just got money like that, because his name itself draws and garners revenue. So they're talking about Floyd fighting Conor McGregor in a rematch. Do you honestly want to see? I know I don't, because he carried Conor McGregor in the first fight. And with Conor McGregor coming off of that leg injury or whatever like that, I think Conor McGregor should just, you know what I mean, walk away. Or if not, stay in the UFC. You know what I mean? Because as far as Jake Paul has pretty much taken up that lane. And with Mauricio Sulaiman saying that depending upon, well, they're not going to fight now, but depending upon how he did on his next fight, and if he won his next fight, Mauricio Sulaiman was going to give Jake Paul a ranking, which will put him in a position to possibly fight for a title. So if Mauricio Sulaiman stays true to his word, and even if he doesn't fight Hassan Rahman, whoever he fights and whoever he beats, if he still is able to rank with the WBC after that, Now he's going to have to stick to a weight class and fuck all that catchweight shit. You got to stick to a weight class and pursue a championship caliber fight with whoever is the champion in that division. Now that's going to be a tough test. So now you're truly going to see if Jake Paul really wants to be a fighter, because now it ain't fighting, you know what I mean, YouTubers, ex-NFL players, you know what I mean, or heavyweights, asking them to suck down weight, you know what I mean, shrivel themselves up to fight at catch weights to give yourself a shot. No, you're going to have to fight the best at that division. And Jake Paul, now you're truly going to see if he has what it takes to be a fighter, because you have some tough competition when you start to move up that ladder as far as like 175 and up. You got some competition up there, you know what I mean? So Jake Paul, if he's trying to fight these top guys at those divisions, he's going to have some stiff competition. So whether he was scared to fight Hasim Rahman, or Hasim Rahman just was unprofessional and he failed to make weight as he was contractually obligated to make weight, which, I mean, that's why I don't even like to talk about that, because if they both were serious about making that fight, first of all, Jake Paul and company shouldn't ask him to come down and weight all like that. That's number one. And if he couldn't make 205 and he was staying stuck at the 216, 215 or whatever range, okay, why didn't y'all just say, okay, meet me at 210? And I think Hasim Rahman said the same shit. Meet me at 210 and let's make the fight. And low key, that's why they said that Hasim Rahman is still training, trying to cut the weight, because they're going to try to reestablish that fight at some point if he's able to come down. Which, in my opinion, at this point, if that was the case, he should already be at that weight. You know what I mean? That's why I said, you know what I mean, they be doing this shit to hype. Oh, Jake, this all could have been a media ploy, you know what I'm saying, by Jake Paul and company. You know what I'm saying? This all could have been, you know what I mean, a media ploy, which, yeah, Boots, Haney, and Spence, my faves right now. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to 135s, you know what I'm saying? You said, I would say, I mean, I like Haney, definitely undisputed champion, a beast. What he went over there and did, going over to Australia, taking those belts from Cambosos, you have to respect that. But at lightweight, man, like, we talk about 135. I like Devin Haney, but believe it or not, man, I like Eastside Cruz. Eastside Pitbull Cruz, man. I became a fan of Eastside Pitbull Cruz, bro, when he fought Tank. And naturally, I like Tank. And like I said, I like Devin Haney as well. But like I said, just looking at skill set for skill set, like I said, Haney is nice, man. Traditional, great boxer, fantastic jab. Look how he picked Cambosos apart pretty much with the jab. Like I said, man, I like Cambosos. I like Cambosos too. But like I said, I mean, Haney, he's tough competitor, tough young champion. He will be there depending upon who he faces. He will be there, you know what I mean, for a couple of years. But like I said, I like Tank, man, and the surprising one, a black horse that a lot of people may not say or even talk about. I like Eastside Pitbull Cruz, man. When you talk about 135, at 130, I would have to say, I mean, Shakur Stevenson. I mean, that's my favorite fighter. You know what I'm saying? At 130, you know what I mean. But then you got you got Martin. You know what I'm saying? Who Spence just signed. Also, you know what I mean. Then you got Chris Colbert. He trying to do something, but you know what I mean. Like my favorites probably have to be Tank and Eastside Cruz. When you talk about welterweight, Boots, Bud, Spence. That's probably my top. That's probably my top when it comes to the heavyweights. And what was the other one you said? Boots, Haney, Spence? Yeah. So, but then how you ain't got Crawford in there, bro? But like I said, I mean Spence. Spence has his following, and just like Bud has a following, I fuck with them both. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with them both. But I could look at it besides individual skill set and from the viewpoint of them fighting each other based upon their skill set. I know what each guy has in their toolbox that can beat the other one. Now, just like Crawford has more tools in his toolbox that can beat Spence, Spence has tools and equalizers, which is his power. And Spence also has deceptively good defense. He parries his punches very well off of his gloves. He cuts the ring off very well. He's not explosive with his footwork, but like I said, he cuts the ring off very well. And being as though he's a very good parrying puncher, he merges both of those two, so he's able to move and slip and defend himself on the move and cut the ring off. And generally, when he does that, he traps his opponent, and then that's when he starts to work to the body, and then he comes up top. So Spence does a lot of he does a lot of shit well. He's a master of the basics. You know what I mean? So like I said, Spence does shit that can give Bud problems, and Bud, he does and has things in his toolbox that can give Spence problems. But like I said, man, I mean, you got a lot of good talent out here, man, and you have a lot of talent that's up and coming. So that's why I said from 130 to I would say from 130 to 147. A lot of the top guys who are at 130, 135, even at 140 and 147, within the next, year or two, like you're gonna have some power. You're gonna have some power changes. Those divisions aren't going to look the same. The welterweight division is most certainly going to change. 140 is going to look different because at some point, Lomachenko is going to come back from Ukraine, and when he comes back, they're going to, and I believe he's going to get busy right away. So that's going to change how the division looks. Like I said, Shakur Stevenson, I don't know, because I can see Shakur being doing this thing at 130 for quite some time. So 130, I think Shakur is going to do his thing down there, but 135 could change. We're going to have to see how things work out when Devin Haney and Kambosos, or if Devin Haney chooses to fight Tank, Ryan Garcia, even though they're talking about Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. Tank has already said that he would like to fight Devin Haney. And that's when Devin Haney and Kambosos, before they even fought, Tank said that if Devin Haney won, they would like to make that fight. And Devin Haney said the exact same thing. But if Kambosos and company can't come up with the financial aspect to secure that fight for the rematch, because just like Devin Haney had to take the short end of the stick to make the first fight, Kambosos is going to have to humble himself and do the same thing on the second fight. You're going to have to humble yourself. You're not going to make as much. And the only benefit that he's probably going to have is the fact that they're going to be fighting again in Australia. And Haney already proved it doesn't matter. He can go to your backyard and he can beat you definitively. And I believe that Devin Haney, if he fights Kambosos again, which he will because it's contractually obligated, I believe that he has a possibility to either stop or knock out Kambosos on the second fight. So we shall see, man. We definitely, shall see. But you know what I'm saying? Like, what other fight do you see out there? Because like I said, the heavyweight division is starting to heat back up with Deontay Wilder coming back. You have Usyk and Joshua preparing for their rematch right now. That was the fight to talk about as far as heavyweights, with Tyson Fury walking away from the game. But now that Deontay Wilder is back in the division, the heavyweight division is now going to start heating back up. And as far as like 175, I forgot, but I forgot who they called for mandatory for Bivol. But Bivol, in my opinion, is still the best. You know what I mean? 175. And at like 68 and all that. Now we'll see what Canelo and Triple G do. But I don't know, man. People sleeping on Triple G. Yes, Triple G is older, but I believe that Triple G got Canelo number. He always did. You know what I mean? He gave Canelo a tough fight every single fight. And just because Canelo was older, I don't. You look at what Triple G did when he went to Japan and he fought Murata. He fought a hell of a fight. I mean, a hell of a fight. So I see Triple G giving Canelo problems. You know what I mean? I see Triple G giving Canelo problems. And Canelo talked a lot of shit, but deep down, I know Canelo, he knows that Triple G is still a threat. He's going to try to press Triple G and get him up out of there early. You know what I mean? Or possibly take him into, you know what I mean, deep rounds. Because like I said, Triple G is older. Conditioning, you know what I mean, may play a factor. So we shall see. But like I said, some 60 on down, you definitely still have some good fights to be made. But 160 ain't like it used to be. 160 ain't like it used to be. So like I said, from there you got 54, 147. You still got some principal and some prime fights at those divisions. But right now, the divisions to be talked about as far as upcoming fights, hands down, is welterweight. And you know, I mean, Stevenson about to have a title. He about to defend his title. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? And Charlo, they ain't been talking about nobody for Charlo yet. So I mean, we shall see. You know what I mean? We shall see. But I'm about to wrap it up, bro. You know what I mean? 'Cause like I said, this wasn't even a scheduled live stream. I'ma probably let me see. I may probably do another one. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going live again. Definitely going live tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So tune in for that one. I'm not sure, because like I said, I wasn't expecting to do this live. But then I seen Deontay Wilder, man. Isaac Cruz looked so sloppy against Gamboa. I don't know if he will be a world champ based on his skill set. I wouldn't say Isaac Cruz looked sloppy against Gamboa. I would say Gamboa made Isaac Cruz look how Isaac Cruz looked. Because Isaac Cruz is an aggressive pressure fighter, you know what I mean? But Gamboa, I mean, it's an Asian Gamboa. Gamboa is not what he used to be. And I believe that depending upon the competition, Isaac Cruz will look different depending upon who he faces. So I won't judge Isaac Cruz based upon that performance, because he got to where he is now because of how he looked when he fought Tank Davis. So keep in mind, that's why Isaac Cruz is getting the recognition, the notoriety, and the spotlight, how he's getting right now, because of how he looked when he fought Tank Davis. So Isaac Pitbull Cruz, man, like I said, I mean, this fight, once he gets this fight out the way, if Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis don't fight, they're possibly going to try to make the Isaac Cruz and Ryan Garcia fight. They said they tried to make that fight already, but circumstances happened and the fight wasn't able to be made. This is Isaac Cruz and Ryan Garcia. So if Isaac Cruz gets past his next opponent, I forgot his name, but Isaac Cruz get past him, and Ryan Garcia just came off a win, possibly that's going to be the fight that's being talked about and set up next if Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis do not fight. If they can't come to an agreement, even though De La Hoya, he wants to make that fight. Floyd Mayweather said that he wouldn't mind making that fight. but it will be at 135. It will not be at 140 because, you know, Ryan Garcia tried to make that fight at 140, but Floyd stepped in and said, fuck all that. If you want to fight, it'll be at 135. So if Ryan Garcia, which he said he'll go down to 135, okay. So if he goes down at 135, then they'll make the fight. But if that fight was truly going to be made, in my opinion, it would have been made already. With all the talking that Ryan Garcia has done and De La Hoya, they said they want to make that fight. They said the money is there and all that. Floyd said, okay, if you want to fight, it'll be at 135. Ryan Garcia already confirmed that he wouldn't mind fighting at 135. Okay, fuck it. If he was really going to do it, that fight should have been damn near made already. But being as though it hasn't been made means that there's other fights for Ryan and for Tank that's possibly, I ain't gonna say it's possible, but that is being talked about being made. With Tank, you also got Devin Haney. You know what I mean? Tank also wants possibly that fight. If they don't fight Camboso's next, then possibly Devin Haney and Tank Davis could possibly fight. Ryan Garcia, if he doesn't fight Tank, possibly the next fight that he fights could possibly be Usyk Cruz. Now, I said this before, I'll say it again. If Usyk Cruz fights Ryan Garcia, Usyk Cruz knocks Ryan Garcia out. Believe me when I tell you. Ryan Garcia has speed. Because of his speed, he has power at the end of his shots. But the style that Usyk Cruz has, he's going to take away some of that speed because the way he fights low and he slips. You know what I mean? He knows how to come under shots. So when Ryan Garcia, especially when he tried to throw that check hook, you know what I mean? Usyk Cruz is going to come under that shot, and Usyk Cruz has a devastating uppercut, bro. Devastating uppercut. He's going to come under that shot. I see him coming under that shot and catching Ryan Garcia with a left hook to the body, and then stepping in, and then coming up with a double right uppercut. You know what I mean? Hurting or stopping or possibly knocking Ryan Garcia out. I'm telling you, Ryan Garcia, it's a reason why they prolong making that fight with Usyk Cruz. Because, like I just say, styles make fights. The style that Usyk Cruz has going up against Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, Usyk Cruz has an advantage. Yes, Ryan Garcia has speed advantage, you know what I'm saying? But how do you beat skill? Speed by timing. Usyk Cruz is deceptively good, you know what I'm saying, timing his shots, especially when he times his shots, cutting distance, coming to the inside. Because timing isn't always based upon throwing a shot and countering your opponent with a shot. You can time an opponent just by movement. They can throw a shot and you can simply move out the way. You know what I'm saying? You can have timing like that. So Usyk Cruz, he has that ability. You know what I mean? He can take away Ryan Garcia's timing by slipping shots and coming to the inside. And once he get on the inside, he's going to go to work. Ryan Garcia is not built and he hasn't developed an inside game. Not on a level to fight or stave off a opponent like Usyk Cruz, who is not only aggressive, but who is accurate. You know what I mean? Because Usyk Cruz, the way he throws his shots, once he's coming on the inside and he's pressing his opponent, he's throwing his shots and he's accurate. Triple G kind of going to get knocked out. I put it to you like this. In the first fight, in the second fight, people said Triple G was going to get knocked out. So what makes you think Triple G is going to get knocked out now? Because he's older? Keep in mind, like I said, he just fought Murata, and Murata was like, in a lot of people's opinion, he was like the Japanese Triple G, and he couldn't knock him out. You know what I mean? And like I said, sometimes you just have those fighters, bro. Just like Keith Thurman says that he has Danny Garcia number, Triple G is the one that has Canelo number. His style, it just matches up with Canelo's style. You know what I mean? And they just give each other, you know what I'm saying, problems. When they fight, Triple G, he lands on Canelo, bro. You know what I mean? So, and anybody could be hurt. You just seen what Bivol did to Canelo. So I'm telling y'all, man, like, don't sleep on Triple G going into that fight, because I truly believe that Triple G has a shot. I don't give a damn if he's older or not. You know what I mean? I believe that he has a shot when it comes to Triple G Canelo 3. I believe that he has a shot. I know Canelo tried to age him out. And why you think Canelo tried to age him out to this point? Because he's a threat. And like I said, man, Triple G, I mean, he has, to my knowledge, a clean lifestyle. Doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, nothing like that. And we seen from Manny Pacquiao's career, if you have a clean lifestyle, if you don't drink, if you don't smoke, you can simply fight longer. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. So Triple G, clean lifestyle, great boxer, great power. As we talked about earlier, power is one of the last things to leave a fighter. So Triple G still has power. He's still an effective puncher, has a great jab. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Triple G, man, like, he's going to give, in my opinion, he's going to give Canelo problems, man. And Canelo, if he was serious about being aggressive with Triple G, then if Triple G is smart and if he's disciplined, then he could possibly, you know what I'm saying, allow Canelo to walk into something. You know what I mean? Just like Rolly did with Tank. If Canelo is really trying to press him, Triple G, if he's smart, you know what I mean, Canelo can wind up running into something. So we're just going to have to see how things work out. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. We shall, you know what I mean? We shall see. So you got Canelo by knockout. I'm saying Triple G has a chance. I'm not saying that he's going to win. I'm not saying he's going to knock Canelo out. But I will say it's a possibility that he could win. It's a possibility. I'm not going to say that he's going to knock Canelo out, but I would say it's a possibility that he could hurt Canelo, because anybody could be hurt. Anybody can be. If they get caught at the right time with the right shot, they can be hurt. And Triple G has already proved that he can put hands on Canelo, because he has put hands on Canelo already. He's done it already. So can he do it again? Yes, he can. This is boxing. Everybody gets hit. And as good as Canelo's upper body movement is, he has been getting hit lately. You know what I mean? So maybe Canelo is starting to wind down. A lot of people ain't talking about that shit. Even Canelo gets older. And as Canelo gets older, he may not be able to do the same thing physically as he did at a high level as he did once before. So Canelo is going to start to wind down and slow down too. Could this be the fight where we see it? We shall see. If he does, it's really going to show, because he's fighting a 40-year-old Triple G. So if he looks like he's slowing down now, hey, man, things may not be looking good for Canelo moving forward. 'Cause like I said, you got some young, up-and-coming, hungry lions, you know what I'm saying? Like Benavidez still want that smoke. Benavidez still want Canelo. And in my opinion, Mike Tyson even said it himself, calling Benavidez the Mexican monster. Benavidez can possibly stop or be the first one to knock out Canelo Alvarez. His skill set is that good. He has power. He has hand speed. His hand speed is fucking ridiculous. His punch placement and punch output and punch selection is ridiculous. This is David Benavidez. That is why Canelo Alvarez don't want to face him. He has a problem facing slick, fast, athletic fighters. You know what I'm saying? Lara proved that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, if he fight Benavidez, which he should, in my opinion, give Benavidez a shot. Charlo, they also wanted that fight, but for some reason, he said they talked too much shit, so he wasn't trying to get him a shot. But David Benavidez has always been humble, always been respectful. So if there's anybody that's going to get a shot, it's probably will be Benavidez. And David Benavidez has a great chance, in my opinion. He probably has the best chance at beating Canelo Alvarez. From skill to skill, skill set to skill set, David Benavidez can get the job done. I don't give a damn who you are. If you don't think that David Benavidez can beat Canelo Alvarez, something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't been watching David Benavidez, you know what I mean? His hand speed, his punch placement, his work rate, I mean, everything is at a high level. And he continues to get better. You know what I mean? He's durable. So, and he's a big guy. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to tell you, man, like, David Benavidez, man, is a fucking problem. It's a fucking problem. And he never lost his titles by being defeated. He lost his titles on the scale. So people also need to remember that shit. But you know what I'm saying? I'm about to wrap it up, bro. I'm about to get up out of here. I may do another live, man. I don't know. But I'm most certainly going to be going live tomorrow. I got some of my notes and everything together for you know what I'm saying, for that live tomorrow. This live, man, was kind of like spur of the moment, you know what I mean? Because I saw Wilder, and I was like, man, let's talk about Wilder real, you know what I mean, real quick. See what kind of response that I would get to see how things will be moving forward. So, like I said, I'm gonna wrap this one up, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you being here, bro. You know what I'm saying? And when next time we do the live, to see if to see if A and Dale pop up, or if they pop up next, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that you remind me if you see them in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna wrench them up too, you know what I mean? All the people who've been riding, you know what I'm saying, from the beginning so far, like y'all been riding with me on the live so far. So I'm gonna make sure, yeah, I'm saying, I wrench y'all up so y'all grow as we build this thing up, you know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely about to get up out of here, man, so I can do what I got to do, and also finish working on what I'm gonna work on for the live that we gonna do tomorrow. So I'm gonna get up out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. I'm gonna holler at you on the next one.